Good day, sir. I'm Rachel Wyan, and my research is entitled The Caribbean Islands. In this research, I will be going to present the introduction, statement of the problem, objectives of the study, significance of the study, followed by the research methodology, presentation of data, and my evaluation or critique. Then, the last but not least is the bibliography. As an introduction, the Caribbean islands is a huge archipelago that can be found in the Caribbean Sea, and it can be subdivided into several various regions according to Caribbeans.com ND. It is also known as West Indies. And the name Caribbean is derived from the name Caribs, who was the dominant Amerindian groups in the region during the time of the European contact in the late 15th century, and it was according to New World Encyclopedia ND. The Caribbean Islands is composed of 13 independent island countries, while some are dependencies or overseas territories of other countries. And in geographical terms, the Caribbean include the Caribbean Sea and all islands which are found to the southeast part of the Gulf of Mexico and in the east of Central America, as well as to the north of the South American region, according to World Atlas ND. This research study is all about the geographical characteristics of the Caribbean islands, and this study aims to answer the following. First is, what are the major physical characteristics of the Caribbean islands? Second is, what are the different countries that are located in the Caribbean? And the last but not least is, what are the famous and visited islands in the Caribbean? Then the objectives of this study. This study aims to determine the geographical characteristics of the Caribbean islands. Specifically, it aspires to determine the major physical characteristics of the Caribbean islands, to distinguish the different countries located in the Caribbean, as well as to assess the famous and visited islands in the Caribbean. This study is significant to the following. First is, it is beneficial for students in the sense that it can give them the information in able to understand and learn pertaining the geography of the islands. Then for the researcher, this study will help her to gain understanding about the geographical condition of the Caribbean islands, as well as the information about the countries that are located there. It will also beneficial for her due to the fact that it would make her gain additional information about the good tourist spots that are located in the Caribbean islands, with the hope of visiting and exploring these particular islands in the future. And for the future researcher, this study will serve as a reference tool if ever they will have the will to pursue research regarding the Caribbean islands. In research methodology, the researcher used a descriptive and narrative methods in able to identify or determine the various geographical characteristics of the Caribbean islands. Then the researcher utilized secondary sources such as the internet sources, published or unpublished journals, PDFs, and articles. Then the gathered data will then be assessed to answer the research problems. This figure is the map of the Caribbean islands. Now, we're here in a presentation of that data. First, 8.1, the physical characteristics of the Caribbean islands. According to 2018, that an entrancing geographical features like volcanoes, mountains, rainforests, as well as coral reefs are present in the Caribbean islands. We also have active volcanoes there. Examples are the volcanoes on Saint Lucia, like the Mount Soufriere. There were also active volcanoes located in Dominica, Grenada, as well as on St. Vincent. Then, aside from that, there are also mountain ranges that were also stretched in the region of the Caribbean. And example of this is the Pico Duarte with highest point of 3,098 meter, or an equivalent of 10,164 feet, located in the islands of Hispaniola in the island of the Dominican Republic. Then, the Caribbean islands also have beaches, and it differs depending on the geological features of a particular island, in the sense that there are black sand beaches that are featured specifically on Dominica and Puerto Rico due to the fact that it has an ancient volcanic activity there, and also in St. Lucia and Grenada. There are also white coral sand that were created by the parrotfish used by its beak to scrape off coral rock. Then, if we have black, we have white, there was also pink, which were created when red shells were broken up by the creation of small grains. Then, there are also small lakes and rivers. For example, the Lake Enriquillo that is located in the Dominican Republic, which is regarded as the largest lake, having a 265 square kilometer or 102 square miles. There were also lakes located in Cuba, just like the Laguna de Leche at 67.2 square kilometer, or equivalence of 25.9 square miles, and the man-made Zaza Reservoir having 113.5 square kilometer, or an equivalence of 43.8 square miles. Then, there are over 400 small ones in the Caribbean, and numerous narrow streams that often run dry in summer. And the longest river on the Caribbean islands is in Cuba, where the Coto flows for 230 miles from its source located in the Sierra Maestra, and it is according to Hamper 2018. Then, the major bodies of water in the Caribbean are the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, and we have the minor one, which is the Gulf of Mexico. Then the Caribbean Sea itself is one of the largest saltwater seas on the planet, with an area about 2,754,000 square kilometers, with an equivalence of 1,063,000 square miles. And Cayman Trough is the deepest point, located between the Cayman Islands and Jamaica at 7,686 meters, or with the equivalence of 25,220 feet below sea level, according to World Atlas 2020. Then, when it comes to climate, Caribbean islands are generally sunny and warm because anyway, there were also tropical rainforests there, and the inland mountain areas are cool and having humid climates, and temperatures do not change much from day to night or from sunny to winter. And according to Brooklyn ISDNB, the winters in this region are typically dry, and it rains almost every day during the summers. And aside from that, from summer to fall, hurricanes are commonly a threat to the region. And the tropical storm brought violent winds, heavy rain, as well as high sea levels. So hurricanes occur mostly between the month of June and November. Second is the countries located in the Caribbean. The Caribbean has 7,000 islands, and typically there are only 13 official countries in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, there are a lot number of islands, territories, as well as dependencies, and it was according to One Step Forward 2020. And these 13 official countries in the Caribbean are Antigua and Barbuda, Bahamas, Barbados, Cuba, Dominica, Dominican Republic, Grenada, Haiti, St. Kitts and Nevis, Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago. Then, how about the dependent territories? Well, we have Anguilla, which is a British overseas territory, the Aruba, which is a constituent kingdom of Netherlands, and Bonaire, a special municipality of Netherlands, and British Virgin Islands, which is a British overseas territory. We also have Cayman Islands, which is a British overseas territory as well, the Curacao, a constituent kingdom of Netherlands, and federal dependencies of Venezuela, which is a territories of Venezuela, the Guadeloupe, an overseas department of France, Martinique, an overseas department of France, Montserrat, a British overseas territory. Then we have Navas Island, which is an uninhabited territory of the United States. Then Nueva Esparta, a state in Venezuela, Puerto Rico, which is a Commonwealth of the United States. Then we have Sabah, which is a special municipality in Netherlands. Then we have San Andres and Providencia, which is a department of Colombia, and Saint Barthélemy, which is an overseas collectivity of France. Then Saint Martin, an overseas collectivity of France also. Saint Eustatius, a special municipality of Netherlands. Saint Martin, a constituent kingdom of Netherlands. And we have Turks and Caicos, which is a British overseas territories. And last but not the least is the United States Virgin Islands, which is a territory of United States, of course. This figure is the map of the Caribbean. We can see here everything that I mentioned, from the 13 independent countries, dependencies, as well as territories. Now, let's proceed to the famous and visited islands in the Caribbean. So, are you excited to know that? So, here are the list of the most popular and visited islands in the Caribbean. First, we have the British Virgin Islands. So, this is the photo of the British Virgin Islands. It is popular among tourists because of its very nice beach. Second is the US Virgin Islands. So, beach ihapon siya. Next is St. Lucia. Here in St. Lucia, may mga beach din, pero you can also do hiking there, as well as yung mga lumilipad ka sa air. Then fourth, we have the Dominican Republic. It has a white sand, and it is also famous among the tourists around the world. Then fifth, we have the Cayman Islands, the white sand island. in the Caribbean. 6 is the Aruba. And we have the Jamaica, Turks and Caicos, Puerto Rico. It is very famous, the Puerto Rico island. Then we have Antigua, Barbados, as well as Anguilla. So, tabunan siya. Curacao. This is the island of Curacao. Then Grenada. We also have Saint Martin here. So, next, in the evaluation part, the results of the study presented the geographical characteristics of the Caribbean islands, which helped the researcher to determine the various physical characteristics of these particular islands. The various top island destinations that were located in the Caribbean made the researcher learn and understood the island's location and able to be more knowledgeable regarding the specific subject. Then, the result of the study also completely answered the research problems using the different kinds of internet searches and the various figures presented as what I have presented in the other slides. These figures illustrates the location of the different islands in the Caribbean, may it be an independent, dependent islands nor territories. Then, it also shows the different views of famous tourist destinations, enabling to visualize the actual site of a particular islands that would help the reader understand and learn. So, and in this area is my bibliography. So, Dinilang Taman, thank you so much for listening, and God bless us all.